want to talk about something that I believe concerns everybody one way or the other, because most of us have experienced loss in some way. In fact, today I just got into my office, and some minutes after I sat down, a friend of mine, sent a chat, lamenting, I just lost, my husband has left me. So at first it didn't register. I thought maybe she meant that the man, they were having problems and the man walked out on the relationship. So I sent her a chat. I said, should I call? What happened? Left you how? What do you mean? And she sent chat that he passed. I was really shocked because I wasn't really expecting that. And in the few months that my own husband passed in December, I've had a few friends who have lost their husbands. And these losses come with children in the picture. So you know what that means. You're not just dealing with the loss of a spouse. You have children who are dealing with the loss of a father. So it's a really, really tough time. Really tough time. So many homes are experiencing tough times now. And it becomes really tough when you think of how do you deal with yourself, first of all, and then deal with children. And it's especially bad if you have young children. It's even a bit better if the children are grown up. I know that being grown up does not make the grief lesser. It's still painful, but it's a little bit easier for you to deal with the situation if you have children who are older. But when you have young children, some of whom are so young that they don't even have a full grasp of what it means for you to tell them that daddy is not coming back, then it becomes a really tough situation. In my own case, I have 4 children. My oldest is 18, my youngest is 10, and the 2 in between are 13 and 15. It wasn't easy, but I think one of the things that really helped me to be able to deal with them in this season is the things that we've been teaching them, the things we've been showing to them even before now, because we cultivated a family culture of always getting together every day as much as possible, except maybe we're not in town or something. We'll get together, we'll talk about life, we'll share scenarios, we'll talk to them. We really gave them room to express. So I think that kind of helped, because those are some of the things that the children mentioned. My 13-year-old, one of those days we were talking, said that mommy and daddy did not shield them, that there are some children that are shielded. They only get to know about the good sides of life. They're not prepared for when bad things happen. And when she said that, I didn't even realize that we had been preparing them in this way until she said that, and I actually had to sit back and reflect, and I agreed that she was right, So for me, what I would always say to anybody, as long as you're alive on earth and you have children, do not wait for tragedy to happen before you begin to discuss the possibilities with your children. Not that you're anticipating that anything would happen, but your children need to understand that life is a cycle. Life is a cycle of losses and gains. People come into this world, people exit this world, and that possibility would always be there that someday a child will lose a parent. And it doesn't always follow that the parent has to be very old and the child is already grown and settled before it happens. Sometimes those things don't go that way, much as a lot of us would prefer it happen that way, where you're already very old and bent, and then your children are established in their own homes and all of that. It would be ideal, but sometimes life doesn't come in ideal packages like we think it should. So when it happens, you have to deal with the children. How do you deal with them? How do you handle a situation where, especially if it was a close-knit relationship like I had in my home, my children were really, really close to their father. When that news came that he passed, I wasn't even thinking of myself. I was thinking of the children. I was thinking, how do I break this news to these children? First of all, I had to put myself in denial mode to be able to talk to my children and face it. But to my greatest surprise, I found out that these children were even the ones, giving me the comfort. It's not something I expected, and that helped me to be able to deal with the situation and also to help them. So what some of the things that I have done in this season with them is not to shield them. I don't try to pretend that it's easy. When I'm down, I make them see that I'm down. I don't try to hide it. Like a few days ago, celebrated, would have been my 19th wedding anniversary, and I didn't want to do anything because really, how do you celebrate that, you know, and all the accompanying emotions? I didn't just want to face that day. I just wanted to quietly dress up, go to the office, and just have a quiet day. But these children, they said no. They went all out. Oh. They ordered breakfast for me from, they ordered online, one company like that, and they brought the breakfast to the house. While I was dressing up, they got my mom in on the cool and some family members, and that was the scenario that confronted me when I decided to go to work. And they also connived with our team in the office and to give me a cake. And I tried to hold in my emotions that day, but in the end I just bursted into tears. You know what really made me cry that day? It wasn't because of the pain. It wasn't because of that. I was just amazed because I just saw these children replicate the things that they have seen us do. Because I've come to discover that when it comes to children, more is caught than thought. There are so many things that you will not sit down consciously and start telling them that, okay, you write on the board, number 1, do this, number 2, do this. A lot of times you will not have an opportunity to do that. Your children catch on the things they see you do than what you tell them. So when they did that, I just shook my head because they've watched their father and I plan countless schools against each other. Once there's an occasion or no occasion, their father was always planning coups with them to surprise me, and me too, I was always planning coups with them to surprise him. So it's something they grew up seeing. And they said to me, Mommy, there was no way we're going to allow today pass, that your wedding anniversary, even though that is not here, is like the birthday of you two. So even though one person is not here, at least the other person is here. So celebrate the birthday on his behalf. And they said, Mommy, there was no way we're going to allow you to let this day go without marking it, because we didn't want to celebrate our birthdays this year. We were on our case that we must celebrate it. So I asked them, I said, is it revenge mission? They said no, it's not. But they needed me to celebrate and be happy that that's what their father would have wanted, that their father expects them to take care of me. And I just laughed. I had to ask, who is the mother in this situation? Who is mothering who? You know? So when grief happens, when a death has occurred, because so many women are in that position today, you've lost a dearly beloved husband, and you have your children to deal with. So that's double grief, for you. When it happens, you first of all have to put yourself together. I'm not saying pretend that it doesn't hurt, because there is no way. You're a human being, is going to hurt, and hurt like anything, But you should also think about the children as well, and do not try to isolate yourself and grieve in secret so that they don't see you. Like I tell my children all the time, I tell them that it's okay for you to cry. If you want to cry, I don't want you to do Superman or Superwoman for me. If you want to cry, let the tears come, So it's something that we faced as a family, because a lot of times when these things happen, we isolate the children, we deal with it, and we try to overprotect the children from the whole situation. No, it doesn't help them. Let them go through that process with you. Is what will really help you when you go through it as a family. And for us also, another thing that helps is that we are a family that believes in God. Our faith in God is a strong rock. So we get together nearly every day. We read the Bible. We reaffirm God's promises for us. And we also encourage ourselves with the fact that beyond this life, there is life. So those are the things that help us through the period. Okay, so in subsequent videos, I'm going to be sharing my journey so far with my children, dealing with the grief of what hit us when my beloved husband, their father, went to be with the Lord December 26, 2020. It's been a long walk to where we are right now, and it's all been the grace of God. It's not been easy, but God has kept us. God has kept us in spite of the dark season we found ourselves. And I hope it will help somebody out there to know that in spite of your loss, in spite of your pain, it's not the end of your life. There's just so much more that God wants to do with you and through you, and you shouldn't resist it. Thank you.